right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to a brand new type of video. I've never done a video like this before, so if you like what you see today, please leave a comment with any suggestions, any ideas, or just what you think about the video, and let's get right into it, baby. All right, this video is about a man named Joseph Malinowski. Joseph Malinowski, also known as Lieutenant Dan on TikTok, went viral. Lieutenant Dan is a resident of Tampa, Florida, who went viral overnight after a man named Tampa Terrence took a viral TikTok video of him next to his boat.
All right, Lieutenant Dan, the people have been asking to set you up a GoFundMe, so that's what I did. The link's in the bio. What do you want to say to everyone that's been supporting you along the way?
I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And if you're starting to GoFundMe, I'm going to tell you what the money is going to be used for. I'm upgrading. I need a bigger boat. I really want something like 35 foot. That was the last boat that I lived on. I only bought this because it was in my price range. I was on Social Security disability. They cut me after 22 years and said I'm no longer disabled. I used to get a check every month. Now I don't get nothing. I have no income. And I'm being blessed every day where, like God says, our daily bread. Every day somebody will give me something so I don't go hungry, and I got everything. You know, it's just, God is good, and you people are all angels. So, you know, you're working for him. He ain't asking for much. Tithe you 10%. Instead of giving it to the church, give it to me.
Awesome, guys. If you want to help out, I put the link in the bio. Let's get Lieutenant Dan a new vessel here and get his sea legs back so we can get to buzzing again. Let's go, baby.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Now, after this viral video, people started to question, like, what's this guy gonna do when this giant hurricane comes? Because, you know, didn't seem like he had a plan. And then it turns out that his plan was to stay on the boats the entirety of the hurricane, which is exactly what he ended up doing.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. We got 3 hours until high tide, and we're checking in on Lieutenant Dan. His boat has risen a little. Dan! Lieutenant Dan! Are you in there? There he is! Dan! We need an interview. There he is. There's our guy. Yep, look at him. Yay! How we doing? Give the people an update.
So far, so good. We're staying on this side of the pole, but it's actually still low tide, if you can believe that.
He says it's still low tide when it's in 3 hours high tide, but his boat is on the concrete. What do you guys say to people? Everyone's calm seas.
How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great, man.
Watch your step, you'll-
I know, right? Look at this setup he's got. He might end up in the parking lot of Publix in a few hours. Are you confident where you're at right now? Yeah, he's good.
Now, at this point, everybody around Dan is telling him to get a hotel. People are offering money to have him stay places. People are offering to let them live at his house. People are trying to help this man in every single way, but this man wants to stay on his boat. You don't go down without the ship, baby, or something like that. Now, Lieutenant Dan ended up actually staying on his boat during both of the most major hurricanes that have happened within the past 100 years or something like that. I'm not a meteorologist, but he stayed. And people wondered, like, what happened? 2 days had passed. What happened to Dan? What happened to Dan? And so Terrence went to go check on Dan, and guess what? Dan's fine.
We got the boat here, and Lieutenant Dan here. How'd it go? How'd the night go?
It was a little rough till about 11:30. I repositioned the boat, and I was heading into the wind, and I slept like a baby from 12:30 to 5 o'clock this morning. I woke up twice to pee, that was it. But other than that, I mean, it's been a great night. I just smoked half a joint. I'm high, I'm watching all the people run around like crazy because of all the water. And water went up. It was up to here last night.
Now, at this point, the entire world fell in love with Lieutenant Dan. Every news site, every outlet, every news article, everybody was talking about Lieutenant Dan. It was all over the world. In fact, it even got so big that Aiden Ross decided to help out Lieutenant Dan and drop a bag by offering a kick deal and a new boat. Here it is.
Well, I have you know, here, I've really, really good news for you, man. The owners of Kick and I, we spoke. I know you're not really aware of it, but it's okay. We're gonna help you. I'm gonna work with these guys. These guys seem to know you. I'm gonna ask how you guys know each other in a few. We were able to come up. I'm gonna be able to pay for a boat for you. We're gonna get you a nice boat, in the range of $50,000 to $100,000, and we're gonna get you a full-time kick deal, which is a live streaming deal where you can stream your entire voyages and all your adventures, and you could have a passive income come in. And you're gonna be, you're gonna have a kick deal, man, a live streaming deal, so you could live stream and connect with fans all over the world, and they could really see your adventure, man.
Now, at this point, everything is going great for Lieutenant Dan. Like, this is something that, like, people pray for. And this man in his 50s got something that changed his life. And it was all thanks to a man named Tampa Terrence, who now at this point started a GoFundMe to help this man, which reached $40,000.
All right, Lieutenant Dan, the people have been asking to set you up a GoFundMe, so that's what I did. The link's in the bio. What do you want to say to everyone that's been supporting you along the way?
I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And if you're starting to GoFundMe, I'm going to tell you what the money's going to be used for. I'm upgrading. I need a bigger boat. I really want something like 35 foot. That was the last boat that I lived on. I only bought this because it was in my price range. I was on Social Security disability. They cut me off after 22 years and said I'm no longer disabled. I used to get a check every month. Now I don't get nothing. I have no income. And I'm being blessed every day where, like God says, our daily bread. Every day somebody will give me something so I don't go hungry, and I got everything.
Now, this was an amazing, life-changing thing. This should have ended there. This should have ended a man gets help from a younger fellow, and his life changes, and everybody's happy, right? Well, Lieutenant Dan actually had a third hurricane coming, and that's the hurricane of delusion, I guess. After Dan started getting all this publicity and the GoFundMe started blowing up and his social medias were taking off, the world loved him, Dan started acting different. He started to fall into this like delusional thing where everybody was out to get him. And, you know, when you look at everything, it was really never like that. And unfortunately, Dan went after probably the one person you really shouldn't have gone after, and he turned his back on Tampa Terrence, the man who changed his life, raised $40,000, kick deals, all of this stuff. He turned his back on Terrence. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, what could have possibly happened? This sounds like an easy, like, smile and wave and you're good. But apparently Dan thought that Tampa Terrence was hacking into his account, changing the password, and basically trying to steal Lieutenant Dan's account, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why someone would want a man on a boat's TikTok account, especially because I'm pretty sure Tampa Terrence's TikTok is even bigger. I don't know. It makes no sense, and it sucks because you know, I think it's not hard to see that it doesn't make sense. But that's the thing, man. That's the thing. You never really know people until, well, I mean, they just met. What am I saying? So after accusing Terrence of hacking his TikTok account, he now throws strike number 2. He uploads a TikTok video where he explains to his audience that he's going to sue Tampa Terrence for not giving him the GoFundMe money immediately. Now, Terrence goes to explain that the reason he can't do that is because Dan needs to get his ID and social and all this figured out for his bank before he can transfer that money into his bank account. Because why would you just give someone $40,000 and let them get robbed, and now the internet hates you because you're the bad guy? And here's his response.
Because if I don't get the money from Terrence, I'm going to sue him.
If he wants to sue me, that's great. But yeah, it would have been crazy. Theo Vaughn wanted him on his podcasts. Barstool, Qualified Captain. Cameo said he would have made $300,000. I had courtside tickets. Someone reached out with courtside tickets, saying he wanted to get us at a game. Like, so many crazy opportunities. Unfortunate, it didn't work out, but that's just how it works. Can't always win. It's all right. I'll keep living my life. I live a great life, so this is, I Got a lot of awesome friends, great support.
So at this point, the internet is slowly turning on Lieutenant Dan, the once loved captain of the boat. The man who fought the hurricane. People are now fighting back. And this is when a new villain enters the story, and he goes by Check the Star, check the credit, check the oil, check, I don't know, check a lot of things. But yeah. Check the Star. This is this fellow.
All right, lads. I don't know if I'm getting reception out here right now. It's getting kind of crazy as Hurricane Milton starts to come in a category 4.7586. It's getting crazy. I don't know if it's going to be a 5 or if it's going to go back to a 3.875. But I'm telling you right now, reporting live, my whole basketball hoop has fell over, guys. I mean, the winds are, whoa, literally blowing me over right now, guys.
Now, I would go into detail about this Check the Star guy, but I would rather put a toothpick in my toenail and play soccer with Ronaldo and Messi. So we're not going to do that. But what I can tell you is this guy used to rub tips with the Island Boys. And even the Island Boys don't trust this guy.
I promise you, that guy is a fake and he's a fraud. Get him out of your face, I'm telling you. And I'm telling you with all my heart and soul. I don't want nothing from you. I want the best for you. I was watching you for 3 hours the other day, and you were talking about your family and everything else. Okay? Listen, I go through it myself too.
So at this point, Check the Star basically convinced Lieutenant Dan that Terrence is this horrible man, horrible guy, out to get him. Lieutenant Dan was right the whole time, you know, and our boy Check the Star was here to help him out. And this entire time, Check is putting a lot of these videos on TikTok about how bad of a person Tampa Terrence is. So now things are getting spicy, you know. Tampa Terrence versus Lieutenant Dan, you know, tag teaming with ex-Island Boy. It's really a beautiful thing. Now, this is where Lieutenant Dan loses his kick deal. Aiden Ross decided that the drama didn't work with what was going on, and he decided to give it to Tampa Terrence.
No longer giving Lieutenant Dan a kick deal, but I'm giving the deal to Terrence. Terrence is going to go around Tampa IRL streaming, and he's going to help out homeless people and help out people that are in need. And we're going to give him a budget every day to go IRL stream and give out and bless people. We still want to help Lieutenant Dan, known as Joe, by giving him a boat. But we also want to make sure that he's staying sober and does it the right way.
And Check the Star, he wasn't too happy about that. Little sad about it. Check it out.
I want to send a special shout out to Tampa Terrence. Congratulations on your deal, man. This is exactly what you wanted the entire time. I can't say nothing else, bro. Good job, man. Good job. Now back to Lieutenant Dan. Jay, what are you doing for him, man? Can we figure out what's going on with that? Because all that stuff that everybody was saying about me, who was the one working on trying to benefit from it the whole time? You were.
Now, eventually after Check the Star, Lieutenant Dan are talking horrible about this guy Terrence that literally changed this man's life. Terrence decides to pull out $7K and to give that to Lieutenant Dan to hold him over until he can get all of his check ID shit figured out. Now, mind you, at this point, Tampa Terrence is still trying to help this guy. Insane. But, yeah.
Get this. I want everybody to see this. $7,000 from the GoFundMe that was transferred to my friend, Will. Okay. That's the first of it. There's $35,000 more that will then, once he gets the right identification, GoFundMe has $35,000. It is going to be transferred into his name as soon as he gets the right identification. Yeah, thanks. Flex that money, Dan.
This started to get a lot worse for Lieutenant Dan. People started to really dislike how he's treating Terrence. So they started refunding. I'm not even sure what the GoFundMe's at right now. Maybe I'll throw it in the video. We'll see if I'm lazy. Right here. Boop. I don't know. We'll see how lazy I was. But yeah, everybody started to turn on Lieutenant Dan like he did Terrence. And as of the recording of this video, actually, Lieutenant Dan has been arrested once again. Which, by the way, I say once again because this man ended up, while all this drama was going on, people ended up finding his arrest records. I'll show it on the screen. This probably, like, it's pretty impressive. But he got arrested a while ago for assaulting a police officer and I believe trying to light a woman on fire on a bench. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I think what we can say here, what we can take from this is that you really can't trust everybody. You know, even someone that you don't benefit really from, you literally are giving them the world. Can't even trust them, man. And you know, I don't know. I don't wish bad on anybody, but I hope that Lieutenant Dan really does get a wake-up call where he sits down and says, wow, this all started because I forgot my password on TikTok. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.